Every single person on this list was doubted, laughed at, or completely ignored before World Cup 2026. Number one on this list did something so unbelievable, even his own teammates couldn't believe it. Stay till the end, because number one will give you chills. This is the World Cup 2026 redemption list. Let's go. Number 5, South Korea. Nobody gave them a chance against Czech Republic. The Czechs were stronger, more experienced, and heavily favored to win, but South Korea had other plans. They went behind. Most teams would have collapsed. Most teams would have accepted defeat. Not South Korea. They came back, they fought, they won 2-1, and they sent a message to the entire World Cup. We are not here to make up the numbers, but trust me. Number 4 on this list did something that made the whole world stop breathing. Number 4, Cape Verde. Let me put this in perspective for you. Cape Verde is a tiny island nation off the coast of Africa. Population, just over 500,000 people. Spain, European champions, one of the greatest football nations on earth. Everyone expected Spain to destroy them. Cape Verde walked onto that pitch and held Spain to a 0-0 draw. 0 goals against Spain. The entire football world went silent. A nation of 500,000 people just silenced one of the greatest teams on the planet. And they did it with heart, discipline, and a goalkeeper who became a legend that night. Speaking of goalkeepers, number 3 on this list is a story that will break your heart before it makes you smile. Number 3, Vozinha. This man grew up on a tiny island with no professional football league, no academy, no scouts watching him. While other goalkeepers were training in elite facilities in Europe, Vozinha was dreaming from an island most people couldn't find on a map. They said players from Cape Verde couldn't compete at the highest level. They said the World Cup was too big for him. Then he stepped onto that World Cup pitch against Spain, and he was absolutely unbeatable. Every shot, every cross, every moment. Vozinha stood between his tiny nation and humiliation, and he won. This is not just a football story. This is a story about where you come from, never deciding where you can go. But we are not even at number 2 yet. And number 2 made history that his entire country had waited decades for. Number 2, Jonathan David, Canada. You need to understand what this moment meant. Canada had never won a game at the Men's World Cup. Not once, not ever. Decades of hurt. Decades of watching other nations celebrate while Canada went home empty-handed. Then came Qatar at World Cup 2026. Jonathan David stepped forward and scored not once, not twice, but 3 times. A hat trick. On the World Cup stage for Canada. His teammates couldn't believe it. The fans couldn't believe it. The entire nation of Canada stopped what they were doing and watched a moment they had waited their whole lives for. Canada 6-0 Qatar. A historic scoreline. A historic moment. A historic man. But even after all of that, number 1 on this list did something nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. Number 1, Johan Manzambi, Switzerland. He's 20 years old. 20. While most players his age are still trying to break into their club teams, Johan Manzambi was sitting on the bench at the World Cup. Switzerland were drawing. Time was running out. The manager turned to a 20-year-old boy and said, "It is your time. 166 seconds." That is how long it took Johan Manzambi after stepping onto that World Cup pitch to score one of the most beautiful volleys this tournament has ever seen. 166 seconds. That is less than 3 minutes. He did not stop there. He scored again. A 20-year-old boy who nobody outside Switzerland had ever heard of walked onto the biggest stage in football and became the most exciting young player at World Cup 2026. They doubted him because of his age. He answered with a volley that will be remembered forever. Never let anyone tell you that you are too young, too small, too unknown. Because at World Cup 2026, the ones nobody believed in became the ones nobody will ever forget. Which story shocked you the most? Comment below, because the World Cup 2026 is only just getting started. And something tells me this list is going to get even longer. Subscribe, because you do not want to miss what happens next.